Hello everybody, my name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and this is part 2 of my end of 2024 WIP parade. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're like, wait, part 2, what? I've posted part 1 already, so you can go check that out. I have a lot of WIPs. I've worked on 184 projects this year. And I have projects I have not worked on, and I'm showing everything that I have worked on this year, started this year, and also stuff that I've started in previous years that I have not gotten to work on. So I have a lot of projects to show. I showed Gracie. Gracie got her claw stuck. One of my cats, she got her claw stuck in the blanket. There she goes. Okay, she fixed it. Part 1, I had shown that I had like 5 piles of WIPs. Let me go ahead and show you what I have left to show. So I moved my piles over, so these piles are still just as big. That one, and that one there. So I'm down to 3 piles from 5. So that's good. We're making progress here. Okay. So let's go ahead and proceed on. I will try to remember to link all the parts in each WIP parade in the description box down below. What I'm doing is when I show the project, I am going to decide if it's something that I want to try to see if I can work into my plans, kicking off the new stuff that I'm doing, or if I'm okay with waiting on it a little bit before I start working on it. So as I'm going through it, I'm dividing it into 2 piles. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm trying to keep my WIP parades, like the parts of them, about 2-ish hours. A little over 2 hours is fine. I'm trying to keep them about 2 hours each because of trying to edit and then upload. If I wasn't doing before pictures, I would just make this one huge ass video. But I want to put before, like, beginning of the year photos in, and I only have so much space on my phone to do that. So let's go ahead and get started with part 2. So first one up is a kit from Artiste. This is vintage style, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this was a new start for me this year. I am doing it on whatever came in the kit, and the Aida, it's a 14 count, and it's a printed Aida. So the background is printed, and I got 500 stitches on it to get it started, and that is where I'm at with it now. Like I said, this was a new start, so all of this was this year. Gracie. She's just sitting here on the couch like, what is happening? All the spots that she usually sits in are all occupied by all my WIPs. So she's very confused and not very pleased. This one, I like it, but I'm okay with waiting to work on it, so I'm going to put it in that bin over there. Okay, next up is a full coverage piece. I actually just showed this in my floss tube. Most recent floss tube. This is Fairy Tale Cottage. This is from the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is $9.79 by $7.37. It has 133 colors, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am doing it 2/1 tent stitch on a 25 count easy count Lugana. Bear with me 1 second. I have a list of, my friend Ariana made a list of, because she likes doing this stuff, made a list of my WIPs that I gave starting percentages for that I've worked on. So hang on, let me find it. Fairy Tale Cottage. I started the year off at 3.41%, and I had a total of 24,631 stitches completed on it. And this year I have put in 1,211 stitches on it. So I've got 2 areas to show. This is the upper left-hand corner start where I started working on it, and I don't remember exactly where I put all of my stitches. I think I put some in the sky up here this year. And then this was all done in the past couple years, like all this here. So I'd worked my way down because I started working up in the corner, right? And then I wanted, when I was like kind of down here, I was like, oh, I want to try to do extreme cross country. So I'd grabbed this color, which I think is 939. I was working my way down, and then I got down to here and I decided I was bored with it. So then I started filling in that area, and then I had set it down. And then I think this year when I worked on it, I want to say that I put in a couple thousand stitches up in the sky up there. But then I got it in my head that I wanted to convert it into a diagonal. So I counted all the way over to the right hand side, because when I do tent stitch, I do my diagonals from the right to the left. So I counted all the way over to the end, and I started converting it into a diagonal over here. So I now have a total, I can't even hello. I now have a total of 25,842 stitches done. Oh, you know what I might be able to do? Maybe if I fold the fabric like that, maybe this will work. I can do it like that, so it's folded up. Okay. I now have a total of 25,842 stitches completed out of 721,523. I am at 3.58%. So there's that. I really, really love this piece a lot. So I'm going to put this in the bin over here to my left. I emptied my bin out. If you watched part 1, that bin was getting pretty full. So I emptied it out because I'm just using one of those cube storage things over right here. And so I emptied that out into one of my larger bins over there in the corner. And once I'm done filming my WIP parade, I'm going to go through everything, figure out what is going into my full coverage. So I have full coverage pieces I'm going to focus on in the upcoming year that are less than 1%. I want to get them all to 1%. So I have those. I need to figure out what my non-full coverage focuses will be, like rotating. And then I have Monopoly, temperature stitching that I need to work on or figure out and all that jazz. Okay. Next up is another full coverage piece. And this is from Stitching Moon Designs. Megan over at Stitching Moon. She has a floss tube channel as well. And this is called Villa Lorna. I have not gotten to work on it this year. Let me find it. Hang on. Which is a shame because I really like it. But this is a piece. Hang on. Let me find it before I tell you where the picture came from. Where is it? Where the F is it? Hang on. Villa Lorna. Oh, here it is. Okay. Nope. Okay, so Villa Lorna, this was a photograph that Megan had taken of, I think now it's either like a bed and breakfast or like an Airbnb of a house that's in the town that she lives in over in Norway. And then she did like a filter on it, like she photoshopped like some way to do a filter so it's like a watercolor painting. I am doing this 2/1 tent stitch on a 28 count easy count Lugana. I did not get to work on this, so I am currently, so I want to say the halfway mark is around here. I had started doing this in Royal Rose and I wasn't really digging it very much. So I've been working in the parked threads, but that's what I was doing. I think it was last year, like in 2023, I was working in the parked threads. But I think when I get to work on this, I might just keep doing that. I might just keep working in the parked threads until I get them all worked in. But I am sitting at 10,200 stitches completed out of 203,040, and I am at 5.02%. And I really like this, and I want to keep working on it, so I think I'm going to probably put this in I braided all my parked threads too. I took a section of them and just braided them to keep them like pretty. But yeah, I think I'm going to put this in my bin over here to the left to see if I can get it worked into plans somehow. Whatever, I know I'm going to have way more WIPs than what can fit into my plans. So whatever ends up not getting selected will go on like the short list for replacements once my stitching goals have been met for the current ones. So that's why I'm like not worried about how many I have on my list of what's going to get worked on. I did it again. I didn't grab the stupid book. All right, that's going to have to wait for either a break in this video or part 3. Let me put that over there. I have the Stitch Robia books that she sells on Amazon. Emma Congdon. And I forgot to grab them. They're over on my desk. Okay, this one up next is a kit. This is actually, we're in December of 2024. This is my current WIP of shame. This is 3 bird watchers. It's a kit from Dimensions. It's super, super old. It's designed by Martha Edwards. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. So I have gotten to work on this other than being the WIP of shame this year. So the before picture, if you watch me on a regular basis, the before picture is going to look different than what I showed in my most recent floss tube, which was posted last night because today's Saturday, so maybe the other night by the time you get to see this. I have done a total of 1,100. Hang on, let me show this before I do that, before I say that. Okay. I've done a total of 1,158 stitches on this. Most of it has been over here. This was before the WIP of shame. Actually, no, half of it. About half, maybe about 600 stitches was all over here. That's what I did earlier this year. And I know exactly what I've done for the WIP of shame so far because it's all been in this bird. And that was like 556 stitches in that bird. So that is where that is. And this is going to get a lot more work on it because my WIP of shame, I do 100 stitches a day for the month that it is being worked on. So this one has a goal of 3,100 stitches by the end of December. All right, so this is definitely going over here because it is my WIP of shame. Okay, next up is Riding the Wave, and this is another WIP of shame. This was November's. And this is a kit from Creative Accents, designed by Jim Warren. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this was another piece that I worked on, not just for WIP of Shame, but I worked on it earlier in the year. So there's going to be extra stitches on it from the start of the year if you just watch my floss tube. Okay. And I'm using everything that came in the kit, both like for all of this stuff. If it's a kit, I use what came in the kit. This is where I'm at with it right now. I've done a total of 3,626 stitches on it. So that is where I'm at with that one. This one will not get worked on for a while because it is in my WIP of Shame pile. And I just worked on it in November as a WIP of Shame. So I won't be working on it again for a bit. So that one can go over there. Okay, next up is, which one is this? This is my very first Teresa Winsler. This came as a 2 patterns, peacock and unicorn. And this one is the unicorn. So that one right there. The peacock is waiting in the wings to be started. But that one, it's a very small piece, very, very tiny. I'm doing it 2/1 with the called for DMC blends on a 28 count linen, I think, and the color Summer Sky. Jobelin, 28 count Jobelin in Summer Sky. And this was a new start for me this year. I got 900 stitches on it this year. Did an upper left-hand corner start. So, but I did 900 stitches on it. I'm liking how it's turning out so far. And yeah, that's that. And this right here, this is the edge of the trees. Right there. That's the very edge of the trees. So I've just been, so then I went back and I've just been kind of filling the trees in. Okay. And I think I'm going to put this over here to the left to see if I can figure out how to work it into my plans. All right. Next up is another full coverage piece. This is from the Cross Stitch Studio. And this is Trucks and Goldens. It's a snippet of a larger piece. I want to say that it is still available. Yeah, this one is still available, pretty sure. It is by Greg Giordano. It's 175 by 175. It has 88 colors. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I saw one of my friends stitch this up and it turned out really, really cute. So I was happy with it. Okay. I'm doing it with the called for DMC. I had a piece. Now this is a little, I'm doing it on 14 count Aida. This is a little, would I have liked to do it on 28 count and made it a lot smaller? Yeah. But I started this when I didn't have as much fabric stash as I do now. And I really wanted to get going on it, and the pattern fit on this fabric. So I was like, I'm going for it. Okay, so I did get to work on it this year. So, Trucks and Goldens. I started the year off at 10.01%, and I had a total of 3,067 stitches completed on it. And like I said, I'm doing it on a 14 count Aida. And I got 500 more stitches done on it this year. And that is where I'm at with it right now. I have done a total of 3,566 stitches done out of 30,625 stitches. And I am at 11.64% complete. So that puppy is starting to come in there. Really cute. I'm going to put this in my other bin of stuff that's okay to wait. I really, really like it. It is a very small piece, but I'll probably just use it as a replacement piece down the road. It'll be on the short list to be a replacement piece once one of my new goals are hit. Okay, next up is another full coverage piece, and this one was a new start this year. This is Toy Shop. This is a retired chart from Pain Free Crafts. Artwork is by Steve Crisp. Here it is. It is 600 by 450, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. Lots of fun stuff in it. Lots and lots of fun stuff. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on that. Oh, I didn't say it in this one. So a couple years ago, I bought a really, really giant piece of like 28, 30 count Aida-ish fabric from AliExpress with the intention of cutting it to do full coverages, and it works just fine for me. I don't mind working with it. So that's what this is on. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. I did an upper left-hand corner start, and I started converting it into a diagonal, it looks like. Maybe. Looks like it was being converted to a diagonal, but might not. But anyway. Oh no, that's where the ship comes in. That's what, that's the sail of the little sailboat that, or pirate ship that's up there. Sailboat, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, this was a new start, and I have 500 stitches completed out of 270,000, and I am at 0.19%. So, my full coverage focus for the year is going to be anything that is already started with my full coverages, getting them all to 1%. When I start new full coverages this year, that's not going into the get it to 1% list. I'll just work on them until I get 3,000 stitches because they'll be new starts. And then they will, go into the list for once I complete all the 1%. My plan is to go back through my full coverages and see what's less than 3% and get all of those up to 3% while I'm still working on other stuff too. So if any new full coverages I start, those will go into that list. All right, next up is another full coverage. And this one is the Sewing Desk by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. It is regular size, regular color. It's 525 by 375. It has 87 colors in it. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I have gotten to work on it this year. So give me 1 second and let me see if I have a starting percentage for it. I started the year off at exactly 4%, and I had 7,871 stitches completed on it. I am doing this 2/1 tent stitch on a 25 count easy count Lugana. Yeah, 25 count. And this year, I have put in 1,824 stitches on it. And that is where I'm at with it. I'll bring it in closer, but that is where I'm at with it now. So I had started in the middle when I started this piece. I had done a center start, and I was kind of like working all over the place. And then I was trying to fill in this. And then I wanted to convert everything into a diagonal, right? Because I'm like, right now, I'm in this phase where I'm all about diagonals. I started earlier this year. Everything needs to be a diagonal. Started like, I don't know, end of spring, beginning of summer. Like all diagonals all the time. So, but being in the middle right here, I was like, I don't feel like counting over and up and making sure that it's one thing if I'm in the upper left-hand corner, I just need to count over, but starting in the middle, I was going to have to like make sure I was up to the right spot and then make sure I count over. I didn't want to do all that. So what I did was I worked my way up this way, and then I got to, I think I'd worked up here, and then I decided to convert it to a diagonal. So I just took the uppermost area that I had stitched, and I worked my way up to I put it into diagonals because I'm doing tent stitch. So I have my diagonals coming from the right-hand side like this. So I worked my way up to the top of this diagonal, and I've been parking on both sides. And once I get this, my plan was once I get this diagonal complete going all the way across, I'll just kind of work my way going up this way and work my way going down this way. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But I now have a total of 9,695 stitches completed out of 196,875, and I am at 4.92%. yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with it, but whatever it was, I thought it was a good idea. And we'll see if I can work this into my plans. Okay. Next up is, this is one of my temperature pieces that I was working on recently. This is Cup of Cheer by Shannon Christine Designs. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And one second, let me get up to the top of the list here, because I have them listed in alphabetical order, which last year it was a lot easier because I was showing my projects in alphabetical order, but now I just have them like haphazard all over the place. Okay, oopsies. All right, Cup of Cheer. I'm trying to think of if I've worked on it other than temperature stitching. This was a WIP. This was not a new start for the year. I feel like the only thing I've worked on for this was for temperature stitching. I have done a total of 402 stitches on it this year. This cup and gingerbread man was already done. So I've put in this here, the snowflakes here, that part of the cup, and that part of that cup. So 402 stitches. Super cute piece. I'm using the Call for DMC. And I really like, I want to get it done. Like, I love these little cups. They're so cute, especially that little Santa or the elf one right here and the penguin. So I'm going to see if I can work this into plans. Because like I said, I've got temperature stitching to select. I've got non-full coverage rotation focus pieces to select, and I've got Monopoly. And then I have to find, and then I got to find 20 projects for you guys to vote on for the low temperatures that I'm going to work on next year. So lots of spots that can go. Okay, next up is another full coverage piece. This is another retired chart from Pain Free Crafts. This is Sweet Shop by Steve Crisp. Oop, went right past it. That's not what I want. Okay, Sweet Shop by Steve Crisp. It is $6.50 by $4.69. I do not know how many colors it has, but this is where it's going to look like when it's done. So much fun. And have I gotten to work on it this year? Sweet Shop. No, I have not. I have not worked on it this year. So I can just tell you what my stats are off of Pattern Keeper. Okay. So I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana. And again, I did not work on it this year. I have 2,600 stitches completed out of 304,850. I am at 0.85%. So this will be going into the list of projects, the full coverage pieces under 1%. I had already written them down, and I believe there's like 18 of them. So I don't know which ones they are because I forgot, but I randomly selected 5. I have them written down at my desk, and I already calculated out how many stitches it'll take to get them to 1%. So when I do my other video of what pieces I've selected to go into all my plans, I will show them at that time and let you guys know how many stitches are left to get them to 1%. Once they hit that 1%, they come out of that particular rotation. They're still eligible to go into other stuff like Monopoly or temperature, but they come out of the 1% rotation, and then I pull another piece that's under 1%, calculate those stitches, and then I'm going to put it into that rotation. So, okay, next up is from Hands On Design, and this is Star Spangled Swine Farm. And there's like 3 patterns for it, but I'm doing this big one right here. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I want to say this was a new start this year. Maybe. Yes, this was a new start this year. I got this as a kit, so I am doing it on a 14 count. Yeah, 14 count chalkboard Ada. So it's like this gray color, gray black, light black. I got a total of 1,502 stitches, and that is where I'm at with it right now. And it's a super cute piece, very easy to stitch on. I am using the called for, because I got it as a kit, everything that in here, everything that's on here is the called for floss. It's a mixture of DMC and Weeks Dye Works, maybe Classic Color Works, maybe a combination of the two. But it's got a combination of overdyes and regular DMC. I really like working on this piece, but since I'm kind of putting all of my other hands-on design pieces into my work into the plans pile, I'm going to put this into my other pile, but it'll be on kind of up there for a replacement piece when the time comes. Okay, next up is a kit from Dimensions, and this is Stacked Teacups. It's a Gold Collection Petite. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And Stacked Teacups, where did it go? Here it is. This was a new start for me this year. I'm using whatever came in the kit. And I want to say this is an 18 count white Ada. And I started in the middle, and was I working my way up? Yeah. So I got 500 stitches on it to get it started. That's a combination of full cross and half cross. And that is where I'm at with it right now. So let me throw it over here. Okay. Next up is, this is one of my bake-off pieces. This is Bake the World a Better Place by Franny Ritter Designs. And that is what it's going to look like when it is done. So I had this idea. I'm not going to explain the bake-off game that I'm doing. I explain that in all of my videos. But this is one of my technical pieces that I was like, oh, this is close to a finish. And it was not close to a finish. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But ideally, with the bake-off game, I will work on it until it's finished. So, but, hang on. Bake the World, Bake the World. Where are you at? Bake the World. So this was actually a new start for me this year. So I don't have a before picture. But I have done a total of 2,224 stitches on it, and that is a combination of full cross, back stitching, and the beads that you see in there. I'm doing this 2/2 on a 25 count Jobelin in the color Coffee. But yeah, this was a new start earlier this year. And then when I started doing Bake Off, I was like, oh, this is close to a finish. I'm going to go ahead and put this in there. It's okay though. So yeah, that was a new start. But that's going to go, that was a new start for this year. That's going to go over there. If you hear any weird noises in the background, I'm going to move the camera. If you hear any weird noises in the background, you hear that? That's Gracie. She has herself curled up so tightly into a ball, taking her little nippy nap, that she is like making it hard for herself to breathe. And she's like making herself like wheeze and sneeze. Hang on. My lips are a little dry. Pardon me. Okay. That's better. Okay, that's better. All right. Next up. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I woke her up. Okay, next up is a kit from Artiste. I don't speak French. Translated into English, it's a hen. This was a new start. This was actually a new start for my Monopoly game. And I've gotten to work on it a couple times through the Monopoly games. So, one second. I'm using everything that came in the kit. 14 count white Aida. That is where I got to. I got 400 stitches on it. And I need to frog this out and this out right here because I did not, this is one stitch too high. So I need to frog all that out and restitch it so it's more balanced. I did an upper left hand corner start. I need to frog that out and stitch it so it's more, so it's correct. You can't see it on here because of the frame that they put it in. This edge of the stitching is hidden, but it's gonna bug me if it's not right because it's not gonna look right. So, but really cute piece, but I am okay with waiting to work on it more. So I'm gonna put it in my bin over there. All my stuff is resetting for Monopoly. I'm picking all new WIPs. Okay. Next up. This is from Stony Creek Collection. This is another one of my seasonal villages. This one is Spring in the Village. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. Spring in the Village. I did get to work on it a little bit this year. I'm doing it with the called for threads. It's mainly DMC, and then it's got like the bottom border part that goes around that quote. That's like a fancy floss, and I do have it. I just haven't done it. But I'm doing this on a 28 count even weave, 2/2 in the color Bone. And that is where I'm at with it now. I did a total, I only got 300 stitches in on it this year. I don't even know where because I worked on it earlier. I think maybe up in that roof is where I worked. So that's that. Oh, stretch my back out. Put this over here. All right. Next up is another full coverage piece. And this one, what is this one? This one is Snowy Delight by Kaplan Door from Pain Free Crafts. I gotta think of where it is on here. Hang on. Not think of where it is. I can think all I want. I gotta find where it is on here. Here it is. All right, Snowy Delight by Kaplan Door by Pain Free Crafts. It's 420 by 358. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Snowy Delight. I did not get to work on it this year. So I'll just pull it up in Pattern Keeper and tell you where I'm at with it. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on, I think this is a 28 count Easy Count Lugana. And I got page 1 completed. I did an upper left-hand corner start. And my goal in 2023 was to complete page 1, which I ended up doing. And so I am currently sitting at 3,552 stitches completed out of 150,360, and I am at 2.36%. So it was funny when I was working on this a couple years ago, like at first I was like, I do not see what in the world is happening here. But then as I worked on it more and started filling the page in more, then I really started seeing the tree coming in. I was like, oh, thank God, because it was looking very strange. So I'm at 2.36% done with this one. And I really like it, but I will be okay with waiting to work on it for a bit. So I'm going to put that over there. Next up is one of my focus pieces. This is going to stay out until it is done. This is from Stitchman Darcy. It's called Yippee-Ki-Yay, and it is a quote from Die Hard. If you're not a fan of swearing, sorry about your luck. I'm doing this for my kid. Yippee-Ki-Yay, motherfucker. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. This was a new start for me this year, so I do not have a before picture. And my goal is to, fingers crossed, get it done by the end of this month so that I can give it to my kid. Like I said, this is from Stitchman Darcy on Etsy. I am currently sitting at 4,646 stitches of cross stitching out of 6,661. I am at 69.75% complete with the cross stitching, but there is also back stitching on this. So give me one second. Let me pull up my list here. Total stitches, including back stitching, has been 6,306 for the year. And like I said, this was a new start this year. But yeah, I'm 69.75% done with the cross stitching, so that's exciting. I don't have that much more to go. All right. I showed him, was it not last night, night before. Showed him on Thursday night when I was working on it. He was so excited. So that's going to go over here because that's one of my focus pieces. Okay, next up is, this is from 2x2 Stitch Art, and this is sampler 124. Sampler 2x2 Stitch Art is on Etsy. And this is charted as a monochrome piece, but I am not doing it as a monochrome piece. I did some color changes to it. So give me 1 second. You find it on my list here. Sampler 124. There it is. Okay, now let me find it on this list. Sampler 124. I started the year off at 10.02%, and I had 3,910 stitches done. This was one of my temperature pieces where I work on it for 100 stitches every time the number that it's assigned to comes up in the temperature. And I did get to complete a rotation of that because I was switching once it got worked on 10 times. So I did get to complete a rotation of that. So I've done 1,000 stitches on it this year. And I now have 4,910 stitches done out of 39,038. And I am at 12.58%. So what I did for my colors is, I'm doing $37.99 in all of the block outlines. And then in Pattern Keeper, I divided this into 20 stitch wide diagonals, and then I took a pink, a purple, and a blue. The pink is 3608, I think. I have it written down somewhere. 3608. The purple is 3835. No, hold on. Ignore what I just said. Okay. The border is 37.99. The pink is 3805. The purple is 3835 and the blue is 3750. All DMC. So I did up here in the corner, I started with 2 strands of pink and I'm doing 2 strands full cross. And then in the next diagonal over, I did 1 strand of pink and 1 strand of purple. Then the next one, I did 2 strands of purple. And then in the next one, I did a strand of purple and a strand of blue. Then the next one, I did 2 strands of blue. The next one, I did a strand of blue and a strand of pink. Next one, I did 2 strands of pink, and I'm just going to be repeating that all the way across. The only thing that really bugs me is maybe what I should have done. If I knew then what I knew now, what I should have done was I should have gone back to the blue purple, then purple pink, and then done it that way, but I didn't do that. I should have, because the transition is a little harsh going from the blue to the pink. But you know what? You live and you learn. I like what I did. Like, I like the idea of what I did because it looks like a variegated floss. But like I said, I wish that I would have, what I should have done if, because I would like to do this again, something like this. But I think what I would do next time is I would do something where I get to the last color and then I reverse that transition going down this way. So it kind of blends up a little better. But it's okay. It's okay. All right. So I really love this piece, but I'll be okay if it waits a little bit to get worked on. So I'm going to put this over here. Okay. Next up is, what's next? Nope. That's out of one of my books. I'm at 47 minutes. Okay. Next up is another stitch along from Modern Folk Embroidery. And this one is Reaching Skyward. This was their 2023 stitch along. I do have this one in Pattern Keeper, and I did a color conversion. So that is what mine is going to look like when it's done. And I don't have a starting percentage on it. And I don't, hang on, let me find it on my list. Reaching Skyward. Oh, I didn't even work on it. So good. I can give a start. I can just go off Pattern Keeper. Reaching Skyward. So my colors, the pink is 917 and the blue is 336. I'm doing a 2 strands full cross on a fabric of the month from Mystic Fabrics from November of 2022. This is a 20 count Ada in the color Polar Blue. And like I said, I did not work on it this year. This is where I'm at with it so far. I have done a total of 1,500 stitches out of 47,789. I am at 3.14%. Excuse me. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So I really like this one a lot. So I think I'm going to see if I can get this worked into plans. Okay. Next up is, this was a new start this year. This is from the Witchy Stitcher, and this is PSL. They're here. PSL is Pumpkin Spice Latte. So like I said, this is a new start this year. And I got this from a friend, one of my subscribers, and she sent me the pattern with this fabric. It's a 28 count Lugana in the color Minerva by Seraphim Fabrics. I'm doing it 2/2, and it's going to fit on half of this fabric, so I will have the other half to do what I wish with it. And I got 500 stitches in on it to get it started. So that is where I'm at with it right now. And I think it just calls for DMC. Pretty sure. All right, let me put this over here. Let's see what happens. Okay, next up is from Long Dog Sampler. Hey, I said it right. I usually say Long Dong. Okay, this is Crossword, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. This was a new start this year, pretty sure. Crossword, where you at? H-I-J-K, there it is. Yes, this was a new start for me this year. I am doing this, I got a hank of silk from one of my stitchy friends. And I don't know what color it is, but it's like this. It's showing up yellow on camera, but it's like this beige brown color. Really, really nice. It's from Silks For You. He said that, I don't remember how much is in it, but he said it should be enough to do that pattern. So he told me how much it was. It was like a lot. It was like one of their big hanks. And then I'm doing it on a 32 count... Hang on, because I have the fabric label. Here it is. A 32 count Lugana in the color Exotic Orchid, but I don't know who dyed it. Let me see if it's on here. No, I don't know who dyed it, but it's Exotic Orchid, 32 count. This was a new start, and I got 1,000 stitches on it. That's where I'm at with it right now. It is a little stripy because it's a variegated silk. Doesn't bother me. But that's where I'm at with that. I'm doing it 2/2. Looks really good when you hold it. Like, I mean, but like when you hold it back, like it looks really good. I like it. Okay. Oh my God. There we go. Okay. Next up is going to be another full coverage piece. I'm putting that in my ever-growing work into plans pile. This pile is getting bigger and bigger. Next up is a piece from Heaven and Earth Designs. This was a gift from a friend. I adopted this pattern off of her, this project off of her, because she decided she did not want to do full coverages. And I said, sold. Where is it? This is Quick Stitch Red Panda by Meredith Doman. It is 175 by 245, and it has 90 colors, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I do not believe that I have worked on it this year. No, I have not. So it is being stitched 1/1 full cross. Yeah, 1/1 full cross on like a 28 count easy count Lugana. And that is where it's at right now. It has 1,714 stitches completed out of 42,875, and it is exactly 4%. So that is where that one is. And where'd my bag go? Oh, there it is. I'll put this in the other bin. Ah. Okay. Next up is going to be another full coverage. This one is by another one from Heaven and Earth Designs. This one is Rainbow Castle. It's the Max Color version. Oh, my shoulder's sore. My back hurts. Rainbow Castle Max Color. Where is it? Where did it go? Here it is. Okay. Rainbow Castle Max Color. It's 550 by 738. It has 239 colors. Artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. And did I work on it this year? Hang on. What's it called? Rainbow Castle. I did work on it this year. Okay. So, Rainbow Castle. I started the year at 0.59% and I had a total of 2,398 stitches completed on it. And this is where I'm at with it now. I've put in another 500 stitches on it this year. There we go. I put in another 500 stitches on it this year. And I'm currently sitting at 2,898 stitches completed out of 405,900. I am at 0.71%. So this is going to be in my full coverage focus under 1% pile. And that is where that one is right now. Okay. Next up is going to be another new start this year. This is a kit from Artiste, and this is Map of America. This piece helped me learn that I do not know all the states in the US where they're located. Because I could not figure, for the life of me, could not figure out what state I was working on. But you know what? It's okay. There's a lot of states. It's a big country. It doesn't matter. Nobody's life is changing because I don't know where Mississippi is. This is Map of America. Like I said, it's a kit from Artiste. Is there a designer on here? Designed by Cooler Design Studio. But that's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using everything that came in the kit. And like I said, it's a new start. So I got 705 stitches on it. And that is where I'm at. It's hard to see, but there's a bunch of white stitches up here. But this is Oklahoma. This is the one I was having trouble with. I think this is Kansas. I don't know. I don't know my Midwest states. Nobody's life is going to change. Nobody's going to die because I don't know what states surround Oklahoma. It's okay. It's okay. And you don't need to correct me and let me know. Frankly, I really don't care. Like, I'll figure it out later. But that's where that is. 705 stitches to get that thing started. I'm going to put this in the other bin, but it'll be on the short list to be a replacement piece once I get some stitching goals done. Okay. Next up is going to be another hands-on design piece. This is Let's Talk Stitching. And this is one of my current pieces that's a temperature piece. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. So out of all my Let's Talk pieces, this is the one that has the most in it. I do have Let's Talk Autumn, but I have not started it yet. So fingers crossed I get to do that next year. I couldn't start all the stuff I wanted to start. But this was a new start for this year, and this year I put in 1,801 stitches on it. So I don't have a before picture because this was a new start. And that is where I'm at with that right now. And I think this one here, I think because I've been working on it so much, I think I'm going to let this one go into that other bin and give it a break. Okay, let me just highlight this real quick. All right, I'm gonna pause here. I need to refill my drink and I'll be right back. Okay, refill my beverage, and I thought to grab the books that I needed to show a couple of these pieces. Okay, so next up is, actually I don't need that one. Let me put this back. I think there's only one book I needed, but I grabbed all of them. The cross stitch books from Emma Congdon. I think I only need this book, but I grabbed all three of them just in case. No, I think it's cross stitch for, I'll find out in a second. This next one I'm going to show you is reasons it doesn't have, she doesn't name these pieces in her books. Nope. Oh, good thing I did grab them all. Oh my God, I'm dropping stuff. Okay, this one is from Cross Stitch for the Heart from Emma Congdon. And it's on page 60, but the photo, page 60. So she doesn't name these pieces, so I'm calling it Reason Someone Smiles. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And it says, be the reason someone smiles today. And I'm using the Call for DMC. I don't have a percentage because I'm working off a paper pattern, but this was a new start for me this year. And I'm doing it on a 14 count Ada. Yeah, I think it's 14, might be 16. So this was a new start, and I was able to do 500 stitches on it. I started in the middle, and that's where I'm at with it right now. Super cute. But I think I'm going to put it in the other pile right now. Okay. And then next up is going to be Spring Sampler from Cooler Design Studio. Artwork is by Sandy Orton. I showed Summer Sampler already. I think that might have been in part 1. Not gonna lie, real quick, I am like super bugged with myself that I'm not doing this in alphabetical order. But like I said, I have my projects in a bunch of different bins because of how I'm doing my stuff. And I was not gonna alphabetize all of that just for the WIP parade, because then it was gonna come all apart again when I pulled my projects from a new plan. So, oh well. Anyway. Okay, so Spring Sampler. I did work on this year. And so you'll see a before picture. I was able to, I'm doing this with a Call for DMC on a 28 count T-dye Monaco. And I put in 1,100 stitches in on this year. And that is where I'm at with, whoops, that is where I'm at with it now. And this is a piece that I was able to put into Pattern Keeper, but I have not like fully like put all the stitches I've done in on it. So I don't know what my percentage is with the cross stitching, but I've done 1,100 stitches on it this year. Really, really like it. I have all 4 of the pieces started. Who is it? Who's doing Summer Sampler? Jessie Marie over at Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's doing Summer Sampler. Blitz Stitch is the one who got me on these samplers. He did Winter Sampler like years ago. And he did Winter Sampler. And it looked so freaking good. which made me want it. And then he was like, I'm putting it in my bin over here, by the way. And then he was like, oh yeah, there's one for every season. I was like, what? Because I love seasonal stuff. So I bought all 4. And then I kept hounding him until I found out what fabric he was doing it on, because I wanted it on that fabric, which is a 28 count tea-dye Monaco, and I was doing it 2/2. Okay, next up is another calendar from Tiny Modernist. This is the last calendar I have from them. I think they only have 3. This one is Easter calendar, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I can't get this back in the bag. There we go. Easter calendar. Hang on one second. Easter calendar, I was able to work on this year. I'm doing it 2/2 with a call for DMC on this 28 count purpley fabric. I don't know the name. I don't know the color. Like, I don't know who dyed it. I picked it up at my L&S on sale. But I was able to do 500 stitches on it this year. And that is where I'm at with it now. And the 500 stitches was all in this block here. These 2 were already done up there. So that is where that is right now. I'm doing it 2/2, if I didn't say that already. So that is where that one is. Okay. I think this one is okay to wait for a little bit before I pull that back out again. Okay, next up is another piece from Stitch Rovia. This one is called Single Step, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. It says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I am using the Call for DMC, and I believe I have worked on this year. Yes, not much, but I did work on it. I'm using, I'm doing this on, like, I think an 18 count white opalescent Aida, and I have gotten 300 stitches on it this year. I want to say maybe a little bit here and up here. This, I know this was new this year. I don't remember how much of this part I had done, but that was new. Oh, you know what I did? I had to fix this down here. I had to fix this down here. I started filling this in. I think I worked my way up maybe. But anyway, I got 300 stitches on it. So, there's that. I'm okay to wait on that for a little bit. Okay, next up is another Mill Hill kit. And this one is from the Buttons and Beads Autumn series, and this one is Espresso, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is a new start for me this year. Okay, let me see how many stitches I've done total on it, because this is currently this was one of my temperature pieces that I was working on recently. So like I said, this is a new start, so I don't have a before picture. But this year I have put in, hang on, there we go. This year I've put in 1,302 stitches on it. And that is where I got to with it. I'm using everything that came in the kit, including the perforated paper. But that's where I'm at with that. So, I think this one I will be okay with waiting on. There is one Mill Hill kit that I have started that I would really like to get some more work on. So I think that might be the one I keep out and try to work into plans. I haven't gotten to it yet though. Okay, next up is another, oh, this was actually a restart. So this is like the one kit that I did not use everything that came in the kit. because it's a restart. This is a kit from Jan Lynn. It's Snowy Days, and that is what it's going to look like. Stop it. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. It started off as a stamped kit, and it wasn't stamped like most of the other stamp kits that you see where like it's like the color is different color than what you stitch. This was the more of like an embroidery fabric, and the pattern was stamped on with like blue X's and stuff. But the X's weren't spaced apart, so where you had like a group of stitches, they all just ran together. I couldn't tell what was where. It was driving me crazy, and I didn't like how my stitches were looking. So I decided to restart it, and I purchased a 32 count white opalescent even weave. And I just started this, last floss tube. I started in the middle, and I'm doing it 2/2 with the thread that came in the kit, and I did 300 stitches on it to get it started. And that's where I'm at with it right now. So, really cute, but I'm okay with waiting to put more work in on it, so it is going to go over there. Okay. Hang on one second. Let me bring my charging. I need to plug my tablet in. So hang on one second. Battery's starting to go low. Okay. All right. Next up. Is it charging? Stop it. Is it charging? Yes. Okay. Next up is from Glendon Place. And this one is Halloween Wishes. And this was a new start for me this year. So from Glendon Place, Halloween Wishes, it says, ghosts and goblins, spooks galore, scary witches at your door, jack-o'-lanterns smiling bright, wishing you a haunting night. Hey, I got it right this time. Usually I always forget that last part. But that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I got it, when I bought this, I got the thread pack to go with it. So I am using the called for, which is a bunch of Weeks Dye Works. And then just a white, and when I got the thread pack, they sent Sullivan's white. But Halloween Wishes. This was a new start for me this year. And so I don't have a before picture. But this year I have put in 1,300 stitches. I put in 1,300 stitches this year on this. And that is where I'm at with that. I'm doing it 2/2 on a 28 count even weave in the color Vintage Stormy Night. So that is where that one is right now. And I think because I've worked on this quite a bit so far, I'm going to put it in the other bin for now and give it a break. Okay, next up is, what is this? Oh, this is my Sal from Lola Crow Cross Stitch. This is the Haunted Library Sal. This is a really bad printout, but that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I am very, very far behind because I'm still in the prologue. This was her Sal from 2022. I'd like to do the other ones that she did, the Greenhouse of Oddities, and then the one that just finished, the Deadly Aquarium. I would love to do those. I just don't have the patterns yet. But I do have that one that she just released. It's not a Sal, but it's like the ballroom one. I do have that. I just got to get... see what fabric I have in my stash that maybe I could get that started, fingers crossed, next year. But this is one of the pieces that I've been working on here and there for my temperature stitching. And I don't know if I've worked on it. I have not worked on it at all except for the temperature stitching. So I'm doing this with the Call for DMC on an 18 count vintage country mocha, and I've done a total of 300 stitches on it so far this year. And they were all basically like right up there. But that is where I'm at with that one. Oh, look at the little skeleton kitty sleeping on the stairs. It's so cute. But yeah, I really like this piece like a lot. So I think I'm going to keep this out to try to work into my plans. Look, hold on. So see that kitty right there? You ready? See that kitty right there? It's like Gracie. Gracie Lou. I found Mr. Whiskers during one of my breaks. He is currently sleeping on my bed. So yeah, I'm going to put this into my, see if I can work it into my plans. Okay, next up is, this is from Sugar Stitches, and this one is Cupid's Cafe. That is what it's going to look like when it is done. This thing, oh my God, let me tell you, this thing has way more stitches than I thought that it did. I thought it was going to be a quick, easy stitch, and it is not. It's a lot of stitches. I've only worked on it for Monopoly this year, and so I haven't gotten much work on it this year. But I got 300 stitches on it. Yeah, I did 300 stitches on it so far this year. I have a thread hanging, so don't mind that. I'm doing it with the Called For DMC on a 28 count even weave in the color Baby Pink. I don't know who dyed it. So it looks, it's a very, very pale pink that is extremely hard to catch at any angle on camera, but it's a very pale pink. But that is where I'm at with it right now. I've gotten 300 stitches on it this year. I did a crap ton of stitching on it last year, and I was hoping to get it done, and I did not. I feel like I did more stitches than that, though. You're going to see in the book, I feel like I might have missed, I feel like I might have missed some stitches. As in, maybe I forgot to record how many stitches I did one week, because I feel like I have more work on it. You're going to see in the before picture. I could be incorrect on that 300. So I feel like I've worked on it more than that. But maybe it was all last year that I did all that work on it. Okay, but I need a break from it. I'm putting that aside. Okay, next up is from Cross Stitch for Everyone. And this one is called Ho Ho Ho. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I have worked on this year, so I remember working on it for when I was watching stuff about one of the hurricanes. Ho Ho Ho. Give me 1 second, I'm just pulling it up on my list. Not very much. Is it in Ari's list? Ho Ho Ho. I started the year off at 10.42%, and I had a total of 1,006 stitches done on it, and I have only done 100 stitches on it this year. And that is where I'm at with it now. My 100 stitches was in this O here, and it kind of scattered, finishing that color off right there. So I've only done 100 more stitches on it this year. So I am now at 1,106 stitches completed. Out of 9,659, I'm at 11.45%. But I do want to get more work on this thing, so I think I might try to see. It's not going to be a top priority of getting it worked into plans, but I am going to put it in my pile of plans that I can work on. So I'm going to put this over here. Okay, next up is a kit from Dimensions. Yep. Okay, this is a Dimensions Gold Collection, and this was a new start for me this year. This one is Cherry Blossom Creek. I think this was a new start this year. Pretty sure it is. Cherry Blossom Creek. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, this was a new start this year. And it was designed by Sung Kim. And I'm using everything that came in the kit. It is, what count is this? Oh my God, I can't, oh Lord have mercy. 16 count, light blue 8-on. Get back in there, thread. And I figured it out and counted over and did an upper left-hand corner start. And I have a total of 414 stitches in on this thing right now. And that was all this year. So that is where that one is. And I think I'm going to put it in my bin over here to the left. Okay. Next up is going to be from Lila Studio. This is Halloween Quaker. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I have worked on this year. One second. Halloween Quaker. There it is. All right. I'm doing this with the called for threads, except for the black and the white. I'm not doing the called for on that. I'm just using 310 and B5200, I believe. Other than that, I am using the called fors, and I'm doing it 2/2 on a 32, maybe a 28 count vintage Stormy Night. And this is where I'm at with it now. I have done 400 stitches on it. Basically this year I have completed this motif here, and I got started on that one there. I might have done this one too. I don't remember. I don't remember if I did this one. I think I might have finished this one. I might have done this one, and then I started on that one. But that's where I'm at with that so far. Gracie's wheezing again. She's been doing it for years. She's not like sick or anything. Okay. I have a lot of projects I keep putting over in my, I want to work on this. I mean, I guess that's a good thing that I have so many pieces that I'm like, yeah, I want to work on it. Because and the other stuff I do want to work on, but I'm okay if I don't work on it right away. Okay. Next up is, the other Lila Studio piece I have. This one is Holiday Quaker. That's what that one is going to look like. This one was a new start for me this year. And I am using the called for thread. And I'm doing this 2/2 on a 32 count Lugana in the color Something Blue by Mystic Fabrics. And this year I have put in 1,000 stitches. So I don't have a before photo because this was a new start. But I put 1,000 stitches in on this so far. So this section is done. These two things are done, and I started in on that one there. And that's where that is. I'm gonna put this one in my bin to the left as well. Gracie, my goodness, baby. She curls herself up so tight that she can't like breathe normal. Because when she's stretched out, you can't hear her. But when she's curled up super tight like that, you can hear it. Okay, yeah, that's gonna go over here too. Okay. Next is going to be one of my whips of shame that I have not worked on this year. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection, Gift of the Eagle Feather. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I have not put any work into this, so I'm not going to have a before photo, but I will show you where I'm at with it. And I'm using everything that came in the kit. I think this is an 18 count beige Ada or something like that. Tan Ada. And that is where I'm at with it so far. Let me double check that fabric. What's that fabric? 18 count beige Ada, yeah. But yeah, that is where I'm at with it so far. This is a super, super old piece. I remember when I bought it, I was dating this guy who was really into like American Indian wolves, wizards, all that stuff. And he saw the kit in the store and he really liked it. Oh, can you do that for me? Yeah, sure. That was over 20 years ago. Okay, we see how that went. All right, next up is, you shouldn't be in this pile. This is supposed to be a new start. You can go down here. Did I bump the camera? My bad. Okay, yeah, that should not be there. Okay, next up is Sea Turtle, and this is by Stitching Jewels Design on Etsy. Sea Turtle monochrome. She does have this pattern available in a color as well, but that is the monochrome piece. And it is, yeah, let me see the size, 270 by 150. And I have worked on this a lot this year, so give me 1 second. Let me see if I have it with a before percentage. Sea Turtles started the year off at 13.20%, and I had 1,100 stitches completed on it at the beginning of the year. And I'm doing this with 310, and I'm doing it 2 strands full cross on an 18 count Ada in the color Coastal by Picture This Plus. And this year I've put in another 1,801 stitches on it. And this is where I'm at with it right now. This was one of my first temperature pieces that I completed the 1,000 stitch goal on. And then I was working on this like earlier in the year as well. But now I have 2,901 stitches completed out of 8,334. I am at 34.81%. That's pretty good. So I'm going to put this into my bin over here. This is going to be a higher priority to, I think I might do this in the non-full coverage rotation for 4,000 stitches, because if I do 4,000 stitches on this, that's going to go from 2,900 to 6,900, and there's only 8,300 and change in the piece. So if I do that and then put it into temperature stitching, it's going to put it at just about a finish, and then I'll probably just go a little bit over and finish it off. That's my plan for this. So it's going to probably, this will probably be one of my non-full coverage rotations to get 4,000 stitches. And then I'm going to throw it into temperature stitching. And that would give it another 2,000 stitches because I'm bumping this up. I'm bumping my temperature stitching up to 2,000 stitches before it gets switched. So that would give it 6,000 stitches, which would put me at 6,900. And then I would just need like another 1,500 stitches to finish it off. About. No. 4,000 plus 2,000 is 6,000. Oh, that might finish it. 4 plus 2 is 6. That would finish it off. The temperature stitching would finish it off. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I can't add. I can't math. Dumb. Okay, next up is another gnome from cutebroidery.com. Oh, hold on. Sea turtle. Did I highlight that? Yeah. Okay. Another gnome from cutebroidery.com, and I am calling this one Coffee Gnome. And that is what she's going to look like when she's done. She's so cute. I am nowhere close to finishing her. But, Coffee Gnome. I have not gotten to work on her this year. So, you're just going to see where I'm at with her. Oh, how pathetic. I'm doing her on a 14 count, like kind of, the color reminds me of chocolate milk when you don't have enough chocolate in it. It's like not white, not gray, not brown. It's like a milk chocolate, chocolate milk with not enough chocolate in it. That's where I'm at with her. How sad is that? I'm going to have to put her into my work into my plans pile. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up is going to be, why are my new, oh, you know what? I had a pile of stuff that I needed to put back into my bins, and these new starts were underneath it, and I grabbed those with it. That's what it is. I have a couple fancy ladies that are going into the new start bin, and I grabbed them by accident to go into my WIP pile. So, okay, next up is a kit from Artiste, and this is Colorful Cow, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this was a new start for me this year. So I don't have a before picture. I'm using everything that came in the kit. Oh hell, hold on. It's like very colorful, and the colors are not normal cow colors. So hang on one second. There we go. I had to see which way was up. So I have done, I'm doing this on a 14 count white Aida, and I have done 1,000 stitches on it. Like I said, it looks like nothing right now because they're not normal cow colors. Oh, but I started in the middle. Okay. Started in the middle. Got 1,000 stitches on it. It's really cute. I like it. I'll be excited to get it done. But not excited enough to put it into my new plans, like right away. So this is going to go into my other bin. Okay. I'll go over there. All right, next up is a Dimensions Gold Collection Petite. This is Coffee Shop. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I saw somebody, a new floss tuber. I don't remember her name though. She had finished this thing and it was really cute. What's this called? Coffee Shop. Let me stay up here. Coffee Shop. All right, this was a new start for me. So I don't have a before photo. And I was able to put in 500 stitches on it. And this was a combination of half stitch and full cross. And that is where I'm at with it right now. So there's that. I think I'll put this into the other pile for right now. Like, I really like it, but I'm okay if it sits for a little bit. Maybe it'll be on the list of the ones that I want to use as like the first round of replacements. Maybe. Okay. Next up is from Ursula Michael. This is A Wonderful Time of the Year, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. It says, holly jolly, home for the holidays, deck the halls. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Go caroling, fa la la. Eat, drink, and be merry. Be of good cheer, comfort, joy. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing it 2/2 with the call for floss. I think it's just DMC on a 28 count white opalescent even weave. And let me find it on my list. I did work on it this year. Not much. Only 100 stitches, and it was all right here. But that's where I'm at with it right now. And I'm on a paper pattern, so I'm not sure what where I'm at with it. But I've been wanting to work on this piece, so I think I'm going to put it into my work into the plans section pile. And yeah, that way I can get more stuff done on it, because it's really cute and I like it a lot. Okay. Next up is another piece from Stitchman Darcy. This one is called I Love You to Death. Let me find it. It's 255 by 155. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I have worked on this year, so let me find it on my list. I Love You to Death started the year off at 30.08%, and I had a total of 2,828 stitches done on it. I'm using the called for DMC, and I'm stitching it 2/2 on some 28 count grayish linen that I have no idea who dyed it. I don't know the color name. I had originally bought this fabric for something else, and it was not what I was looking for. So, but then this pattern came up, and I said, oh, this will actually work. So I used it for this. So I started the year off at 30.08%. And this year, I have Love You to Death. This year, oh, I didn't work on it that much. I've only put in 200 stitches, and that is where I'm at with it now. So hang on one second. Okay, so I've only gotten to put in 200 stitches on it this year. I'm currently sitting at 3,028 stitches completed out of 9,401, and I am at 32.21%. This one is a pretty small piece, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put it as this. I gotta see what all pieces I have and everything, but I want to try to work this into my plans to get it closer to a finish, because I'm almost halfway done with it. And if it just goes into a couple different plans, I could potentially get a finish on it next year. Okay, so I'm going to put that over here. All right, next up is going to be another Emma Congdon piece from one of her books that I don't have a name for, so I'm calling it Ancestors. And this one is from Cross Stitch for the Earth. Is it this one here? Nope. Nope. Oh, it's the one I dropped earlier. Hang on. Okay. Cross Stitch for the Earth by Emma Congdon. I got these books on Amazon. And it is on page 14. But I'm calling it Ancestors. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. It says, we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. And this was a new start, and my stupid ass said at the beginning of the year that I wanted to finish it. You know how many stitches I've done on it? 300. That's all I've done on it this year. I'm like, oh, I want to finish it. I'm doing it with the Call for DMC on a 14 count white Aida. But yeah, that's all I've done. I had called in my last WIP parade, I had called for like 135 finishes. I was nuts. And I finished 13. Okay, this one I'm okay with waiting a bit to work on it, so I'm going to put that over there. All right, next up is going to be one of my full coverage pieces. Did I not put a name tag in here? Good thing I know which one it is. This was a new start for me for my birthday. Me and Alara started this. This is Winter Cookie Party by Heaven and Earth Designs. I got the max color version. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. It's 700 by 501 and it has 240 colors. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I did an upper left-hand corner start, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana. And I did 200 stitches on it. So I'm currently sitting at 200 stitches completed out of 350,700. I am at 0.06%. So this is going to go into my full coverage focus under 1% list. Winter Cookie Party. There it is. All right. All right. Next up is going to be, what's this? Oh, this is another one of my Emma Congdon pieces. This is from Cross Stitch for the Earth, page 10. Again, don't have a name, so but it's Cross Stitch for the Earth, and I'm calling it Unplug. And it says unplug and go outside. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. This was a new start for me this year. Yeah. And I was able to put in 500 stitches on it. And I'm doing it on a 14 count white Aida. There we go. So I did 500 stitches, and that's where that's where I'm at with it. I did a center start. So not much, but that's okay. So that is where that is. And that'll go in my other pile too. All right. Next up is, oh, I showed Halloween. I was like, didn't I just show this? No, I showed. Next up is Mother Nature Christmas, and this is from Just Cross Stitch Magazine. from 2023. And this is what she is going to look like when she is done. And this was a new start for me this year. And so I'd worked on her earlier in the year, and then she became one of my new temperature pieces recently. And so I don't have a before photo because she was a new start, but I'm doing the Call for DMC on a 28 count T-dye Monaco 2/2, and I have 800 stitches on her so far this year. That is where I'm at with her. So I'd started in the middle, and then I had worked my way up to the top to her hair. And then I basically decided to go ahead and start getting all of this and work from the top down. So all of her hair is filled in up here. I think, well, I have to double check. I still have more. But the little flower wreath is done, and I did the back stitching, and I did her face and did some back stitching. There's still 2 more colors of back stitch that need to go into this up at the top. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'm going to put her to the side because I have a lot of work on her compared. Well, no, she's going in here. Okay. Next up is from the Cricut collection. This is Winter. I'm going to have way more projects than I can actually work into my plans, but it's okay. Winter from Cricut collection. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. Whew. I'm doing this with the Call for DMC on a 28 count Lugana in the color Blueberry from Fiber on a Whim. And this was a new start for me this year. I'm doing it 2/2. And that is where I'm at with it. I was able to put in, this was one of my Monopoly pieces, so I don't have much work in on it, but I did get 200 stitches. And that is where that is. I love this blueberry fabric. It's so pretty. I want to get more. All right. That's going over here. I don't know where I'm going to fit all these projects in, but I have, like, I'm going to get stuff worked in, and then whatever's left over will be the first runners up for, I'm going to get my projects worked into my plans, and then whatever's left over will be what you guys vote on for the low temperature stitching. And then whatever's left over from that will be first runners up for replacements for once I hit my stitching goals. That's what we're doing. Okay, next up is another kit from Design Works, and this is Baby ABC. This is what it's going to look. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this was a WIP. And I have, I'm using everything that came in the kit. I started in the middle, and I have done a total of 603 stitches on it this year. And that's where I'm at with it now. Oh, I think my next break, I'm going to have to do some stretching exercises because I'm like feeling all creaky and stiff. But that's where I am at with this now. This one here, I will go ahead and put off to the side. And this will just be waiting in the wings in my other bin. All right. Next up is from Kitty and Me Designs. And this is Sunflower Mandala. I say it both ways. I say mandala and I say mandala. It depends on how I'm saying it. But this is Sunflower Mandala. See, I just said it both ways. From Kitty and Me Designs. And this was this a new start? I think this one was a new start for me. I have 2 of these things. And I think the other one I had started the like 2023 maybe. No, 2022. I don't know. Sunflower mandala. Where are you? Yes, this was a new start for me. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing it with the called for threads on a 28 count white Monaco 2/2. And it doesn't really matter which way this goes because it's a mandala, so it's all the same. But I feel like just how I stitch normally, I feel like it's going this way. I was only able to put in 200 stitches on it this year. And that's where I'm at with this so far. I think I still have to get the Kreinik for it. Because there's like, I think gold Kreinik in it, but I have to get that. But that's where I'm at with that. I'm not in a rush to get that done, so that's going to go over there. Okay, next up. Next up is another Stony Creek collection piece. This is Summer in the Village. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I was able to get some work in on this. I'm doing this with the called for threads on a 2/2 on a 28 count even weave in the color African Daisy. Oh yeah, now I remember where I worked. And I got 600 stitches in on this. And I did this little picnic table right here. That's completely done. Isn't that cute? And so is that lamppost. But that's where I worked. But that's where I'm at with it so far. There's a purple spot right here before anyone freaks out. It was I think it was that's the washable ink. That came from where I ordered the fabric from. That came from them. But I don't want to wash the fabric, and I think that it's going to be covered up by stitching, pretty sure. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. So just ignore it if you spotted it. Most people do. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that so far. And I'm going to put this in my bin to the left because I really want to work on it. I love these projects. Okay. Next up is another Cricut collection piece. This one is Summer. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I didn't like the fabric it was on. I didn't really care for that. So I'm doing it on a 28 count even weave in the color Mystic by Picture This Plus. And this was a new start for me this year. And I was able to put in 1,405 stitches in this year on this. So I think the M is pretty much done. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure the M is done, and that's why I moved on to the E. There's like a carrot, I want to say, over here that still needs to be put in, but that's kind of in the other M. But I want to say the M itself is finished. So, yeah, 1,405 stitches put in on this. I think I'm okay with letting this one sit for a little bit. Okay, so I'll put that over there. Next up is from Northern Expressions Needleworks. This is Twisted Band Sampler. I have Twisted Band Sampler started, and I want to do Twisted Rainbow Sampler. It's in my bin of things to be started. But Band Sampler has been started. And like I said, this is from Northern Expressions Needlework. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. They sell this in 2 different versions. They sell a cross stitch version, and then they sell a specialty stitch version. And so I have the regular cross stitch version, and I am doing this in the DMC instead of the Fancy Floss. Let me pull up the before stats for it, because this was not a new start this year. Twisted, oh no, it was a new start. Never mind. Haha, I'm just kidding. Twisted Band Sampler was a new start this year. All right, so being a new start this year, I have put in, I'm doing it with the DMC conversion on a 28 count white Jobelin 2/2, and that's where I'm at with it right now. I've put in 1,320 stitches out of 21,989, and I am at 6.00%. So that is where that is. Really like it. All right. But I think I will put it in my other bin for right now. Okay. Next up is from this is Stitchography, and this was from World Cross Stitch Day 2021 from Fat Quarter Shop, and that is what it's going to look like. Oh dear, I'm starting to get an avalanche over here. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing this 2/2 on a 28 count white Monaco, and I'm using these Etchwall threads that my mom had given me. She did this piece with these threads, and then she gave me the rest of it, and she said, here, have at it. So that is, so like I said, this was a new start for me this year, and I put in 500 stitches on it. So that is where 500 stitches got me. And it's hard to see on camera, but it is all like kind of got like a glittery color to it. Nuts, you can't see it. That's okay. But yeah, so that's that one. This one I'm gonna put into my bin over here to the left, but if I can't get it worked into my plans, I won't be heartbroken about it. I'll just save it for a replacement. This next one is from Peppermint Purple, and this is a blackwork piece, and it's called Sunny Waves. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I have not gotten to work on it this year, which makes me sad because I really like this piece. I am using the Called For DMC, and I am stitching it on a 14 count white Aida. And that is where I'm at with it. So I think, so this little section here is completely done. So I think I'm going to put this into my bin to the left over here, and I'm going to make this one a higher priority to get worked into plans because I really like this and I want to get it done. So that is that. Not much to show really. But yeah, I didn't get to work on it this year. So sad. Okay, so that's gonna go over here. Next up is from Primrose Cottage Stitches, and this is Christmas Rules. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. It says, Christmas rules: deck the halls, drink hot chocolate, hang your stocking, build a snowman, spread joy, go sledding, and believe. This was designed by Lindsay Waite. And this was not a new start this year. And I'm doing it with the DMC. They called for a couple fancy, like one fancy floss or maybe a couple, but I'm doing the DMC conversion, and I'm doing it on a 16 count, like grayish Aida. And I've put in 1,202 stitches on it this year. And that is where I'm at with it so far. What I should have done is I should have done this over this way more, maybe a little bit more, and then I would have had this fabric left over, but it is what it is now. But that's where I'm at with that. All right. I think I'm going to put this into the other. I have another rules pattern. I have Hive Rules that's like waiting in the wings to be shown. And I want to put some more work in on that one first. So I'll do that. Okay. Let me show one more piece and then I'm going to end part 2. All right. So last piece for part 2 is another gnome from Cute Bordery. This one is Peacock Gnome, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I have worked on this year. Hang on one second. I'm doing this with the called for DMC, and I'm stitching it on a 14 count Aida, Charles Craft Aida that it's like a blue-green color. And so far this year, I have put in a total of 1,208 stitches. So this is where I'm at with it now. I do have a thread hanging right here. Let me get that out of the way. But yeah, 1,208 stitches on this. Really cute. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to throw all of my gnomes into the bin to the left over here and see which ones I can get worked in. And then maybe once they hit their goal, I'll replace it with another gnome. So it's not all gnomes all the time. It's just a gnome in one spot all the time, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to stop part 2 here and reset everything. Grab a snack. And I hope that you have enjoyed part 2. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. I think this might be a 4-part WIP parade because I still have a decent amount to go. But yeah, I think I'm going to get it down to 2 stacks, but I'm not going to get through those 2 stacks in one part. So this was part 2. I think this is going to end up being a 4-part WIP parade. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you had to see and you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in the next part. Bye.